YouTube? I am some redheaded chick.
And I'm Wolfie.
Because he's Wolfie, I guess.
Boom.
We got this at the store today. Of course it's for Rika. He made sure that the little pack inside of it, by peeking in like this, is for Rika too.
Yeah.
Because apparently Farika brings him luck, and you want to know what? He was right. He was definitely right.
Absolutely.
See? Farika.
I don't know. It's just, with every set I do this because I always find my lucky pack. It's just for my lucky packs.
First card.
Yeah, let's just say I freaked out and did a little dance when I realized what I actually
In
just
the
got.
middle of Walmart.
In the middle of Walmart. I don't care.
In the middle of Walmart, YouTube.
I don't
The
even,
middle of Walmart.
I don't even care. You know, I don't even care. I just
Look
dance.
at this. All of them.
All of the gods.
them. And you know what I told him? All I had to tell him was, if you get another Planeswalker, I'm going to be mad. And what does he do? Pulls the guide pack.
Because last night I actually pulled a Johnny. And yeah, and that's why she said that, and then I pulled this.
Yeah, and God pack.
Yeah, so we just decided we would just do something fun, and
Yes.
we have all 15 gods right in front of us. Yes. We would kind of, say what we think about each of the gods.
Yeah, pros, cons, and all that. Now that we actually have all of them
right in front of us, we don't have to dig for them, pull them out of our decks or anything. We're just like,
yep, they're right here, all set up nice and neat for us. Yeah, he's picking out the single packs from now on.
boom.
All of them.
And she picks the boxes.
He picks out the packs, so
Right.
we got a trend going.
Boom.
Anyways, how many did you want to talk about?
We can just talk about all of them. Just start from the way they're in the pack.
Alright, the way they're in the pack, numero uno, Heroes. Well, we pronounce it differently.
She's going to mainly do this one because she's mainly into Boros, so I'll let her take over mostly for this one.
Biggest downfall for Heroes is that if you don't have any creatures, you bust. I mean, he's great when you have creatures on the field.
Pretty much wins you the game.
Kind of. I mean, there's a lot of kill spells. And, if you can't get to your creatures in time, you're dead. So, I mean, you can't really rely on Heroes, to win you the game. I mean, he's a big help. It's like having a true conviction on the field. It's kind of like that. I mean, it's definitely a game changer, but you don't want to rely on, Heroes to do everything. Especially since he himself will never be a creature if all of your creatures die.
Unless you have a lot of enchantments, which doesn't make sense to be in an Heroes deck.
Right.
But it's like, doesn't make sense.
I mean, if you have tokens, then, yeah, he's still never going to be a creature, but he can still pump those creatures.
It's like having, just to expand on what I think it is. Like, with Heroes, if you're running a lot of enchantments, that's like running a creature-heavy deck and then having Supreme Verdict. It doesn't make sense. They don't add up.
No, Heroes belongs in a very creature-heavy deck. Yes. Like, if you're running Mile for a commander or even a regular deck, that's a place where you want Heroes. That's a place where he will shine.
Yeah, that would work, or an aggressive token strategy.
Yeah, like his deck with the, what's the commander's name again with the counters?
Oh, Marath.
His Marath deck. This would also work in his Marath deck, assuming it runs the colors. I don't remember exactly what colors Marath is.
I would actually be more likely to use it for my Gahiji deck because that's a legendary deck and he's legendary. So
sorry, the camera is very out of focus today. I apologize, but you kind of know who this is, so it doesn't need to be all in focus.
But yeah,
he's definitely a game changer when he's on the field. If you have bodies on the field to change it with, you have to have the bodies, or he's not leading anything.
Bodies are bust.
Exactly. He's the leader of an army. If you have no army, what's he leading? What is he doing?
Guys, I'm here. Where's everybody?
Exactly.
What happened? What'd I miss?
He doesn't have his posse. He can't do shit.
Yeah.
Just saying. But yeah, I mean, aside from that, Heroes is pretty good. If you have him in the right setting to be good. So, I mean, I don't think he's the weakest one in the bunch to say anything. I mean, he's about the cheapest, and for his power and toughness, pretty damn good.
Yeah, I mean, he's a hell of a god for 4 mana.
Oh, yeah, 7/4. Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But yeah,
that's
your biggest problem with him is keeping his creatures off the field.
Yeah,
biggest thing.
Yeah.
My personal becoming favorite, Krivix.
She has made me hate this god.
I run him in my Hydra deck, and he's amazing. Not even kidding. He's amazing. I don't understand why people bash this god. He is not the weakest one. He is amazing.
Okay, just to say, the reason why I think so, that a lot of people hate on him, is because a lot of people are centered in standard, for one, which is annoying.
Which is annoyingly aggro. Nobody in standard will ever.
Don't go there, because for the most part in standard, a lot of people will play either mostly aggro or the polar opposite of control. But either way, where Krufix shines is a deck where you can take advantage of the mana, or you have a lot of card draw. Which is why I'm kind of surprised in standard not to see a lot of like Sphinx's Rev decks using that. Because charging up that mana and then gaining a lot of life and drawing a lot of cards seems like a good idea. Yes. Plus, you wouldn't have to discard any of the cards if you go over like 7.
But you have to remember, a lot of play in standard is aggro.
This is true.
A lot of play. That's what annoys me about standard, is that so much of its play is aggro.
Right.
They want to bash your face in by turn 4 and be like, I win!
Well,
and you're just kind of sitting there like, well, thanks for playing the game. I just sat down 2 minutes ago.
Well, I mean, the reason for that is once again, it's a competitive environment, and they're trying to, a lot of times they're actually playing for like, money and extremely valuable prizes.
Yes, I understand, but at the same time, I would like to see something different. Something that's not so aggro, where you actually think about, how to outsmart your opponent, how to outplay your opponent. Yeah. Not just be like, swing, 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 I win!
Or blow up the board, kill everything, and then finally I play this big splashy spell, I win. The end.
Yeah, like somebody just stalls the game, or like this. Kick it anywhere, and they're like, oh, I play this big, huge thing, I win.
So, I mean...
Well, thanks for stalling the game for like 20 minutes so that you could win the game.
Right.
Congratulations.
Now, he's also, like, I've heard a lot of people will say, he is also amazing in Commander.
He's amazing! Because I don't have a Commander deck with him. He's in a regular standard deck for me, and he's amazing!
Yes. But he's all, with him, he's also very amazing in Commander. Because I heard one person bashing it, like, well, we already have Reliquary Tower, we already have Omnath. The thing is that, like...
Well, yeah, but in Commander, it's a 1 in 100 card draw. Exactly. You're not going to rely on Reliquary Tower or one other card to do what he can do. You want to have as many cards that do the same thing as possible in a Commander deck.
And honestly, he puts, like, 2 cards that just kind of smashes them together, and you have, like, infinite possibilities.
He's especially with Prophet of Krufix and Kior's Follower. Amazing. Love it. Don't shake your head no at me.
No, I'm saying that because that's gonna happen to me one of these times when you play your Hydra deck. You're like, I'm gonna tap this, I'm gonna do this, and I have, 40 mana in my mana pool. I'm gonna play, Hydra Broodmaster, and then I'm gonna use it, and I'm gonna have 17/17s on the field.
See, I actually did that to our friend Mike, and he's a noob at the game, and I was kind of mean. Miscutter Hydra on the field, 30 counters on it. It was game over, especially with the second Miscutter Hydra with 30 counters on it.
Yeah.
That was unnecessary, but
Hey, win more.
Definitely win more.
But yeah,
especially with Bioshift, that would have been amazing.
But yeah, this is a god that there are a lot of possibilities. Maybe not in standard, just simply because, of what the environment, as they put it, the environment wants. Yeah, but still a very good god. He
is definitely not the weakest one. I mean, definitely not.
I'll admit, when he was first spoiled, I was like, yes! They didn't make him suck! He's so awesome! He's so many possibilities. I just haven't built a deck with it. And plus,
he's the one that hasn't used them.
Yeah, and she, she just found a place for him immediately and was like, I got this. So.
Yeah, so his favorite god became my upcoming favorite god, so...
Kind of funny.
Yeah, kind of funny. Next one now? Aetherius! The number one common mythic.
Yeah, before we get into, what we think of the god, I just want to, as far as gameplay is concerned, I just want to say I love the flavor. Pay the ferryman! Awesome.
He's big on the flavor of this.
I love Greek mythology, so...
We both do, so... Yeah. It was fun. This set was a lot of fun for both of us.
So I'll let her start with her Orzhov view of it, and then I'll go into mine.
Oh, there's a lot of Warsoft to this creature. I play a lot of Warsoft. That was my main color set right there, black and white. So I loved Aetherios when he came out. I really did. Oh yeah, especially with the priest.
High Priest of Penance.
Yeah,
High
especially
Priest
with
of
High
Penance.
Priest of Penance. Considering what he can do,
Yeah.
bringing him back multiple times, more and more and more. It's like putting the gift of immortality on him and having him come back more and more and more and more. The only difference is that this one's costing our opponent's life.
And then I'm really regretting, I'm really, okay, I can't say regretting. I'm really afraid of seeing what's going to happen in Commander when she adds it to her Orzhov deck. Because she loves this kind of, like, interaction of, like, having Sanguine Bond and Exquisite Blood out. And then I'm going to be afraid, and she's all like, oh, my creature died. Do I get it back, or do I win the game? Because I'm just going to be like,
Oh yeah.
I wanted to play Magic. And I can't. But yeah.
See, that's not the only thing that deck relies on. It's just
Exactly.
like the one eternal combo
yeah.
I have in that deck. But again, Aetherios, not the weakest one. I mean, for 3 mana.
3 mana, you get a
3
lot of
mana,
good
the
stuff.
guy is a 5/4 indestructible.
He's the good stuffs.
And he lets you pull your creatures back from the graveyard unless your, opponent pays for you not to. I don't see a downside to that. Except with, his arch nemesis, Farika, which we will get to later.
Yeah. And I agree with what I heard somebody say. Part of the problem is that you might lose tempo and by losing your creatures, and they can say, okay, I pay 3, blah 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 blah, and you don't lose, and you lose Aetherios being a creature, he just becomes an enchantment. But you still are getting that damage. Now my idea with good old Aetherios here is Birthing Pod, because you drop a creature, you get the value, because with Birthing Pod pretty much you're picking enter the battlefield effects or when the creature dies effects. You're getting that ability. So then you sacrifice it to Birthing Pod to get another creature out. And then with Aetherios, you're getting a third value out of that creature, because you're getting the enter the battlefield ability, you're getting to fish out another creature, and then with Aetherios, you're either dealing 3 damage to your opponent, or you're getting it back to do it again. So that's a lot of value.
Yes.
And I haven't built it yet, but now that we have another Aetherios, I can finally sit down and build. I'll probably only use 2, just because Birthing Pod, I can fish it out, and I don't want to have too many of the same legendary, because it's gonna...
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, hey, I have an Aetherios on the field, and I just drew one. Blah.
Yeah, 2 is about, like that, with legendaries, 2 is about the most you want to do.
Yeah. But that's my viewpoint of Aetherios, and I guess we can move on now.
Next one.
Zeus, if he was cool. That's what I have to say. Zeus, if he was cool.
Hey, I've made Zeus cool.
Eh.
Hey, I made Zeus cool.
Okay.
He at least wasn't a dick.
Okay, papi, let's continue.
No.
Okay. But anyways,
Coronis is amazing. He doesn't even have to be a creature for him to do anything. That's the best part about him.
Kuranos, for the most part, should just be an enchantment. Just simply because,
win more. The fact that he's a creature is win more.
Yeah, pretty much.
That he can become a creature is just win more. I mean, you get a card draw. You draw your card. If it's, non-land card, deals 3 damage to your opponent every time you draw that first card in your turn.
Or even better, a creature. And, 3 is pretty significant because, there's several cards like, I'm talking overall, just not just standard, but like, what's it called? Fiend Hunter.
Okay.
That a 3 toughness. There's a lot of creatures with 3 toughness that are significant. And, Kuranos can pretty much zap them. And then, if you draw a land, which is kind of like a lot of Magic players' worst nightmares in the middle of a game.
Stop taking a land.
It's like, oh, hey, a land. I have 8 of them now. Yes! Now you actually get the extra card draw. So,
technically, well, having 8 is great when I have to play Avacyn.
Well, okay. But yes, we're really going to play a red, white, and blue deck where we're going to have Kuranos and Avacyn.
That's actually a pretty good idea.
She's such a joker. But anyways.
Hey, this here's America.
This is Hey, I'm going to make an America deck.
Yeah,
Just
you
saying.
tried that already, didn't you?
No, I'm working on it right now.
Okay.
That was my Troll America deck. Now this is gonna be my actually, you know.
Because America trolls. You hear that, America? We troll. We troll.
But anyways, yeah, you know,
Trollolo.
Karanos is. I think he's best as an enchantment. Now, if you get the creature out of him, that's awesome.
Win more.
Yeah, that's just
yeah.
an added bonus.
Karanos is one of the ones that he is amazing either way, enchantment or creature. He can be either one, and he still affects the field greatly. It can hit you or your creatures. It doesn't really specify it has to be either or. It just says, you know, creature or player. So yeah, if you have something in your way, like somebody with 1 toughness with first strike, hit them. Get them out of your way.
Yeah.
If your opponent is down and you want to keep nicking at his life, 3 adds up, especially when it's every turn. It adds up a lot. And then you get that extra card draw.
Yeah.
If it's a land, you draw another card. You get that extra card draw, which is what a lot of people like. Yeah. I mean, I like an extra card draw. Shoot.
I like drawing cards. Unless I'm playing against my Nekuzar Commander deck. Then I don't like drawing cards. But anyways, like the only con that I see with Karanos that I've heard a lot of people say is that, well, part of the problem is that you can't set up the draw. So you might draw a land and get an extra card when you really needed that 3 damage, or you get the 3 damage and you really needed the extra card draw. Well, but I mean, at the same time,
come on, I mean, you can't be overpowered at the same time. That's just gonna overpower him. Yeah. Nobody will ever get this card if he can scry at the same time. That's what you have Thassa for.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, also, a lot of Karanos' cards that are related to him, and a lot of red and blue cards, have a whole lot of scry. So you have all of the ability
but I mean, you could set up the field to scry for him.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have ways of influencing your card draw so that you can get the 3 damage or the land that you need and get the extra draw. Exactly. I mean, you have plenty of ways of influencing that, not just Karanos himself. He's going to have followers to do that.
And then, like what you said with Thassa, that actually works too. Because you can scry 1, see if it's the effect that you want, and then leave it on the top.
Exactly. And then you have Karanos, then you draw after you scry with Thassa. Yeah. And then you can deal the 3 damage because you planned it that way.
Exactly.
Or get the land and then the extra card draw. So there are ways of using Karanos to your advantage without Karanos being way overpowered and being able to do it himself.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just greatly overpowering him. You Magic players are very spoiled. All of you.
Especially like, and I know this is like completely unrelated, but guys, Johnny is awesome.
Johnny is awesome.
Moving on.
Johnny and Elspeth. Anyways, the one that got us this God pack.
I am taking over this one.
Be my guest.
Because I am probably one of the few people that really, really likes Farika. So the reason why I like her is because I have a green-black enchantment deck that I built pretty much when this set came out. And it used Constellation with Grim Guardian, Eidolon of Blossoms. It used a lot of Eidolon, sorry, and a lot of Bestow and etc. And it gave adding in Farika gave a lot of synergy to the deck because I use Krufix's Insight. Most often, I'm getting my 3-card draw, and then I can dump a few enchantments in the graveyard, or lands, whatever. Whatever I dump in there is what I want in the graveyard. And with Farika, I have a chance to Death Toucher. You shouldn't have. You pretty much attacked right into my Death Toucher, which was a bad move. Or on top of that, like another aspect that I like of her, she's 3 mana. Pretty much, if she becomes a creature, I have an overwhelming border damage, and that extra 5 damage could very well just win me the game right then and there. But let's say I get up to it, and then somebody plays Supreme Verdict on me and they kill off like the 3 or 4 creatures I have. Well, that's fine. Farika, pumps into her ability. I exile the 4 creature cards. I get 3 or 4 tokens. Huh? I know. But I have the 3 creatures, and then my opponent might have a creature that they played, and that's it. I swing in with 3. You block one of them. I bestow a Boon Satyr on the other one, and I just dealt 7 damage to you.
Aside from all of
6,
that,
sorry.
She's also Aetherius' greatest counter.
Yeah, because while Aetherius' ability is on the stack, you can exile the card with Farika. Now,
and then Aetherius' ability is kind of moot, so you can't really bring it back and have the player lose 3 life. So Farika is really great at taking away Aetherios' best ability.
Yeah.
So if you put those two together, it's more likely that Farika could win over Aetherios, but Aetherios is still amazing on his own.
Like, the only problem with Farika in that regard is that do you really want to give your opponent that 1/1 Death Toucher? That's my only. That's the only thing that does kind of suck. But
Well, if you have a lot of flying, you don't have too much to worry about with it, because your flying just goes right over that snake's head, and the snake's just kind of like,
I hate you.
exactly. So, I mean, if you have flying, you don't really have a lot to worry about, but if you have the ground type, then you better have first strike.
Right.
Or at least indestructible.
Mhm.
Something like that. Next one,
Xenagos.
go to the Rebels. Which, I really like him. He's going in my Blood Rush deck.
Even though he died.
Yeah, he died. How'd you kill a god anyways? Gods don't die. I didn't get a chance to read the story yet, so try not to spoil it for me, because I do like to read the little magic pamphlets that they give out.
AKA DSI the end.
Okay, moving on.
Anyway.
Yeah, Xenagos does make a hell of a difference when he himself is not even a creature as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he could be an enchantment throughout the entire game, and that would be just fine.
Yeah,
He could be a creature, and that would be even better.
Yeah.
Because he can double his own powers. He can double somebody else's powers. And you're pretty much just kind of screwed either way. So,
and
again, his biggest flaw is kind of like Erois, though.
if you don't
have creatures, you're SOL. I mean, you're up the creek without the paddle, and you just drop the other one into the creek. So,
yeah.
with him, you also have to have creatures on your field, or else he really doesn't do anything.
And like,
he's not my favorite, but I mean, he's still definitely a game changer right there.
Yeah, another reason why Xenagos is so powerful is the surprise. Like, let's just say you drop down. I'm trying to think of a good creature. Hydra Broodmaster, because it's on my mind. You drop Hydra Broodmaster.
It already has haste.
No, it doesn't.
No, I was thinking of Mistcutter. Yeah, sorry.
You play a Hydra Broodmaster. It's a 7/7. Then automatically Xenagos' ability can kick in. You're suddenly swinging in with the 14/14.
Not including if you make it monstrous.
Yes. Which, most likely, you might not have the mana that turn if you go like Xenagos.
Unless you're playing it in my deck, and then you probably will have the mana that turn to make it monstrous. Just saying.
This girl. Anyways, yeah, but, Xenagos is really powerful.
He's very good.
Denying it.
Yeah, but again, his biggest drawback is kind of the same as Erois. I think he's really on the same level as Erois because of that big drawback they both have with having to have creatures on the field. If he doesn't have a creature, he can't really do anything. That is his major effect right there, and it says so.
Yep.
At the beginning of combat. If you have no creatures, you have no combat, therefore he can't do anything, he just sits there. So, he's really, to me, on the same level as Erois. He's really good. Definitely a game changer if he's in the right setting. If he's not, he just kind of sits there as a bystander saying, "Where's my posse, man?
Like, what's up? I brought the revel. Where's the revelers?
Brought the reveille. Where are the rest of you?" Now, this lady, I haven't had much really to do with her.
I mean, I can probably talk about her pretty well.
Yeah.
Afara?
He's played her more than me. I haven't really felt a desire to play her. I mean, she's alright, but I mean, when another creature enters the battlefield under your control last turn, draw a card.
See, the thing that I think makes her really good is you kind of have to. I would say you kind of need either a lot of flash creatures, or you need to have Prophet of Crucifix, or something like that, because then you can easily you play a creature, you draw a card. Then in your opponent's turn, you play another creature, you draw another card. So you're kind of just constantly playing a creature, drawing a card, and replacing that card, so you have yet another creature to play.
Well, it's at the beginning of each upkeep. If you had another creature into the battlefield under your control the last turn, you draw a card. I mean, it's a nice extra draw, but she doesn't do much else than that. And I don't have a lot of use for her personally, because I don't play a lot of flash creatures, and I only play Prophet of Crucifix in my Hydra deck. So if I and me never had a real thing going. I mean, she never stood out as fantastic to me. She never stood out as the one that, as a creature or as an enchantment. Either way, she worked amazingly. I mean, she works decently as an enchantment. As a creature, win more always, but I never really felt a use for her ability. I mean, it just never suited the way I played. It doesn't mean that I'm saying she sucks or
None
that
of
you
the
can't
gods
play
suck.
her. It's just my play style. She didn't have a place in my playstyle. His playstyle, oh yeah, she had a place in his.
Yeah.
Just not mine. I'm not the biggest fan of Ifara, but I mean, I don't think she sucks.
I'm just gonna say it like this now. None of the gods suck. They all serve their purpose, even the worst one in Karametra, which we'll get to in a bit.
None of them suck. None of them suck. In fact, my favorite is actually the next one on the stack. Mogus!
That's your favorite?
Actually, yeah, he is. I love Mogus. Are you kidding me? I mean, look at this. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, Mogus deals 2 damage to that player unless he or she sacrifices a creature. You're either going to get rid of all your opponent's creatures, or they're going to keep taking life until they're dead.
I would say what makes Mogus pretty sweet is the fact that he's kind of 2 abilities, like 2 sorcery or I guess 2 instant or sorcery cards. I forget exactly what they are. Okay, Shock's an instant. I can't remember what Diabolic Edict is, but
sounds like a sorcery.
It probably is, but it's kind of like a combination of those 2, and your opponent has to pick the lesser of the 2 evils. Do they sacrifice a creature? Do they take 2 damage?
Now, mind you, in the early part of the game, since he's 4 mana for a 7/5, amazing again. They're probably going to take the 2 life over sacrificing their fodder.
Mm-hmm.
They probably want to keep their creatures early game. I know I would. So yeah, you're going to start off probably niching away at their life 2 points at a time at the beginning of every one of their upkeep.
Now, the only problem with that is 2 damage. Depending on what deck it is, that's not that much. It's about the same price as paying for a Shockland.
Pretty much, but there are only so much Shocklands that you could pay to have. I mean, at some point in time, you're going to start sacrificing your creatures because you can't start taking that 2 life every turn.
Not to mention,
but then when you have no more creatures to sacrifice, you're SOL.
Yeah, and then on top of that, you're taking 2 damage per turn, and eventually Mogus is going to become a creature because you're probably also going to play him in a creature-heavy deck. Unless you're playing like Grixis Control, which is also possible. He's going to become a creature, and then you're going to be swinging in with a 7/5 on top of dealing 2 damage or making them sacrifice creatures, so you're going to have to throw creatures under the bus. It just starts to get really, really painful over time.
And not to mention all the other cards that you could possibly have in your deck that fit so well with Mogus. Yeah. Just like all the other gods. He's just, on his own, I think he is my favorite. I really do. Him and Krufix, my 2 favorites.
I would say, like another thing that he's just a very pretty much, he is like the god of attrition, having to pay 2 life constantly, having to sacrifice a creature. It's just an attrition. He's just an attrition god.
Either way, you pay up to Mogus.
Yeah.
He takes it either way. The next one is
Karametra, the one that everybody says is the worst.
Which I don't really understand either, because none of the gods to me are really, terrible. I love the artwork, I gotta say.
Yeah, the artwork is just gorgeous.
Whenever you cast a creature spell, you may search your library for a Forest or Plains card, amazing, in a Forest Plains deck. You're playing those colors. Put it onto the battlefield tab, then shuffle your library.
Now,
I don't understand how that's terrible. You play a creature, you pretty much get land for her. You get lands, you play more creatures. You play more creatures, you get more lands.
The problem is once again, they're talking standard, and at 5 mana, quote unquote, in most green-white decks and standard, you should be winning the game. Or in the Celestia builds of green-white decks, there's tokens. They're making tokens. They're not necessarily casting creature spells. So it kind of nixes her ability. It's not when a creature enters the battlefield. It's when you cast a creature spell.
Well, once again, isn't that like Ravnica, though?
Yes,
this is Theros, not Ravnica.
Yeah, so we're going to have a little rant here about that, because that actually ticks us both off.
This is Theros, not Ravnica. Stop mixing the 2 up. Yeah. Ravnica had the Celestia. Ravnica had the Golgari. Ravnica had the Zed. This is Theros. Theros is going to have a completely different playout. It's not going to have the same things that Ravnica had because it's not Ravnica.
Right.
It's a different plane. They're going to be different. Yes, there's going to be a lot of common things between the two, but they're not going to be the same. You know, Golgari's not going to focus on Dredge or Scavenge. Izette's not going to focus on whatever it was Izette focused on, because I didn't play a lot of Izette, let's face it.
Overload. It was mostly
Overload.
Incinerator Sorceries. So Keranos is pretty close. But,
Close, but
you
still.
know,
like
like-
I said, there's going to be a lot of things in common with them, but they're not going to be the
Yeah.
same.
You know, like, you know...
Oh, and, which one?
What?
The one that focused on counters. Simic.
Simic. Oh, yeah, Simic.
Simic focused on counters, but that also was in Ravnica, not Theros.
Yeah.
So everybody, all of you that are commenting about the blue-green combination, not focusing on counters, just stop, okay?
Yeah, just
stop your nerdiness. Stop the nerdiness with that. This is not there. This is not Ravnica. It's Theros.
This is Theros!
Exactly!
But yeah,
It's not Ravnica. They're not going to do that. They have their own set of playing in Theros because it is going to be a different plane. It is going to be a different playset.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you guys feel that, they cheated you out of some Simic Revolution or something like that. It's not Simic.
Yeah,
It's not.
The thing is that, if you really look at a lot of the Theros cards and the blue-green combination, it's all about having a lot of mana and having a lot of cards in hand.
Exactly. It's about most of the blue-green is Hydra-based this time because it is based off of a mythology.
Card advantage and having a lot of mana to play all the cards in your hands.
So you can monstrously Hydra.
That's exactly what Krufix fits into. And Karametra, another thing that I think she does really well is actually monstrous because
exactly
you play a creature, you get a land. Then,
and you need this land to even make your creature monstrous. And that's what she does. She gives you what you need to make your creatures monstrous, to play those spells that you need to play, to make, get where you need to go. And you guys are going to say that she sucks up because that she gets you land.
And another thing is the fact that she says forest or plains. So if you have I know this is really obscure, but there were lands in Shadowmoor that were forest, and they were kind of special forests. They were still called forests though, that you could fetch them. You can also fetch shock lands.
As long as they say forest, right?
Right. As long as
as long as they say forest, you can fetch them. So why are you guys complaining about Karametra and claim that she's the worst one?
No.
Goes to me.
Flavor-wise, I do love the fact that she is the god of harvests.
Oh, yeah.
And she fetches lands.
Oh, yeah. Come on now. You gotta also stick with their theme.
The flavor, yeah.
The god's theme, their flavor. They have to, at least have the ability to stick to their themes, their flavors. You have the god of harvest, and then you give her, shock damage ability. What sense does that make?
Or she makes, I guess that it said, she made 1/1 rice tokens. I don't know. I don't know. Is that what you guys want? You want rice tokens or grain tokens?
Sure.
Or something?
Have her make
sacrifice the grain tokens, you can gain life. I don't know. Okay, we're done.
Cast a creature, you get a rice token. There you go. This guy.
Fuck that guy.
My blue.
No, fuck that guy.
My blue and black mill deck. He's the commander. My
No.
EDH mill deck. He's the commander and he's amazing. I actually found a combo with him and
Consuming Aberration.
That was amazing.
Fuck those cards.
I loved it. Think about it. Consuming Aberration's power and toughness is equal to the number of cards in all your opponent's libraries. Add that with him. I pulled it on Wolfie. I said,
hey, obnoxious. That's what that is.
I said, Wolfie. I tapped him, right? He says, well, I'm just going to block. I said, I'm not attacking you. And he had about 44 counters on him. And then I did it again next turn. I said, you have 88 cards in your deck left to mouth? I won.
Bupkis. Bupkis on the Hupkis. Yeah.
An amazing, idea there.
No.
Which I didn't realize until I had both of them on the field, and I took great advantage of it right then and there. I did. He hated it.
Not cool.
But as far as, him, as far as he goes, again, his biggest drawback is that he needs creatures to do things with. A lot of the gods do need creatures to do things with because they're all leading a certain army.
Now, I will say with Phoenix, I would say he would be one that could probably become a creature because you have enough enchantments on the field.
Yeah.
Because, you could have if you're playing in 3-color, you could have like your detention spheres. You could have I can't even think of any like typical blue or black enchantments that you would normally have, but you could have those out, which turns Fenax into a creature, and you could just be milling for 7 while you're doing other things. You could have Ashiok and Fenax out at the same time, and you're like milling 10 at a time, and their deck's gone fast.
Yeah, see, he actually works on himself, just like Xenagos does.
Yeah.
Works on himself, which is really awesome once he gets to be a creature. You just have to make sure you have the right setup to make him into a creature if you're not going to have a lot of creatures on the field. Like in my blue and black deck, there's not a whole lot of enchantments, but there's enough creatures and things in there to actually make him a creature so that he can, tap for that ability himself along with my other creatures. Because, I will sit there and I will use the little Omen Speaker to mill with. And I've done that before. Like, Omen Speaker, mill 3! Mill 3! You want to mill the top 3?
Why does that remind me of Thriller? You're like this, it reminds me of Thriller. I don't know. Okay, moving on. Moving on. I'm thinking of Thriller here.
Ta-da!
Nalia.
Oh.
She's actually really awesome as well.
The one thing I don't understand about Nalia is why doesn't she give herself her ability like the other ones do?
Yeah, why doesn't she give herself trample? But then again, Heliod, of course, doesn't get himself trample. Which is weird. Vigilance, yeah.
Vigilance.
Which is weird.
You have to be vigilant. You have to know these things. Anyway.
But anyways.
But yeah, I think she's really good.
I would say that
as one of the original
ones,
ones,
her ability, her little activated ability to be a little bit less, like 1 mana less. Even if it was 2 green and a colorless, I would take it. I think 4 mana is a little steep if we're just +2/+2.
Well, yeah, but I think they just kind of gave it to her that way because that's also her mana cost.
Yeah.
So you're paying for something for her to do. You're gonna pay her mana cost for it. I can understand that.
I'm just saying, like, if it were 2 green and a colorless, I would like it so much more because.
But at least she can target herself with that ability.
Yes.
She just can't give herself trample,
which is really awkward. But I would say the fact that she's green is great. It is great because of the fact. Yeah, I'm stuttering. Is great because of the fact that for whatever reason, a lot of Hydras don't have trample. So she's just kind of like trample.
It's like they're her babes.
Right.
It's like, oh, you don't have trample, my sweetie? Oh, there you go. Now you do. It's just that,
Yeah, now the hunt's more interesting, isn't it?
But see, you look at this picture, you see the artwork. She's massive. How she doesn't have trample herself is a little odd.
It's because she's wearing a bikini, so she's trying to be, modest. So she's not like,
That's not a modest bikini right there.
I don't know. My
That's
logic
not
is
a
not
modest bikini.
Okay, moving on. I don't know what we're doing.
It's like, wasn't she your original favorite one though?
It was between her and Thassa, which is like the last one I think we're going over. Thassa or Heliod.
No, actually Heliod's the last one in the pack.
Okay. All right, next.
You can all think that we're lying about the guide pack thing, but seriously, we stood there in the middle of Wal-Mart right in front of self-checkout, and that happened.
Yep.
That happened.
And I did the dance.
He seriously did it in front of everybody. I just kind of turned away and said I don't know him. For a second, I laughed, but...
If you want, we can drag the scary footage, of me doing the dance.
That would take a long process.
And a lot of effort.
Yeah,
but anyways,
we're lazy. We're not going to put in all that effort. We're just going to tell you we pulled a guide pack, and if you don't believe us, that's your problem. That's your prerogative. I'm an honest good.
Okay, next one.
Next one. I actually think Perforos is kind of Wolfie's favorite here because he uses and abuses him to Daylight's end.
I don't know if he's like my absolute favorite, but he is a very good one. I do remember. I actually finished. I've actually just destroyed in the Commander game. It was even like I think 4 people in the game.
But that's because he kept doubling his tokens. Creatures enter the battlefield, 6 tokens. He doubles that, 12 tokens, and we're all taking 24 damage apiece because of these 12 tokens.
Actually, the way I absolutely destroyed it was I had Perforos out, I had Primal Vigor out, and then I played Avenger of Zendikar. which, because I had 7 lands, would have made 7 tokens, doubled 14. Then I Strionic resonated Avenger of Zendikar's ability, which actually caused it to make 28 tokens times 2 was 56 damage to everybody and won me the game.
And he wants to talk about my decks.
And then the other thing that I just never got around to doing it, I might do it, was combining Perforos with Assemble the Legion, and it's kind of a control shell to start out with. You know, you have your 0/4s and your Nyx Police Rams and your Anger of the Gods, just kind of keeping it at bay, and then you get your Assemble the Legion out, and you just say 1 token, 2 damage, 2 tokens, 4 damage, 3 tokens, 6 damage, and it just keeps getting higher and higher to the point where you're just overwhelmed and you lose.
They pretty much kill you with the damage, so you don't even have to attack. It's just like tokens damage, tokens damage, tokens damage.
Which is really cool because, you know, dealing with enchantments is a lot harder than dealing with creatures.
Oh yeah, it is. I mean, to fight against a lot of enchantments, you pretty much have to make an enchantment control destroy deck.
Yeah, you have to actually destroy. You have to actually have actively destroying enchantment cards.
Yeah, like, I'm not a fan of Perforos' artifact, the Hammer of Perforos, because you actually have to destroy the lands in order to get a golem.
I mean, I like that. I like it mostly for the haste. However, I also like the fact that if you're in like a really bad pinch of a situation, you can sacrifice one of your extra lands and you get a dude.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're not so much in a pinch and you are running low on mana, and you're just gonna get screwed and you're not getting any creatures or anything, I mean, that's your last resort. You're kind of taking the only way you'll ever get to pull out any of your creatures.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of have to weigh the good and the bad with that one. I mean, I don't like sacrificing a land if I absolutely need it.
Right.
Because a lot of times you can get screwed. I mean, it's just kind of the luck of the draw.
Yeah.
I mean, Perforos himself, he honestly works great as, an enchantment. Again, he's one of the ones that will greatly affect the field. More so if even if you don't have creatures, more so if you do.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even if it's, even what I like about him is if the creature can hit the field, and then they can be like, alright, I kill spell it. Well, at least you got 2 damage out of the creature.
Right. Well, now that I think about it, that is kind of also his downfall, too. He needs creatures.
Yeah, well, he needs you to have the ability to play creatures.
Exactly. You have to be able to play creatures. I mean, they don't have to stick around, with the other ones. But you have to be able to play creatures with Perforos. I mean, if you don't have the mana to play creatures, Perforos can't really do anything. He just kind of chills in his little smithing mountain saying, well, I've got nothing to do. He just kind of stands there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, his biggest thing is that you have to actually play the creatures. If you can't play them, or you're not drawing creatures, you're kind of getting screwed.
Yeah.
Next is Erebos. Erebos. I kind of screwed myself up with him during one game because I had Angel of Jubilation out. I couldn't even do his, ability myself because I kind of misread Angel of Jubilation. Thought she said opponents can't do that. Players can't do that.
No, Angel of Jubilation says, fuck all you guys, you can't do shit. You're not allowed to you have to play straight. Every single one of you. You can't do anything fancy. Just sit there and play.
See, under normal circumstances, Angel of Jubilation, I play her. It's amazing because it screws over her, him, and... Well, hi, guys. I guess I'm a girl now. How you doing? I'm a lesbian, apparently. Oh, don't do that.
Okay, anyways, go ahead.
But Perforos is just... I love him. Sorry, Erebos!
Yeah.
This is Erebos. Don't listen to me. This is Erebos. Erebos.
I would say one thing that she does a lot with Erebos is she plays in her Orzhov deck. She'll have Erebos out, and it's kind of she kind of uses it in a very, how do I explain it, gloomy way. It's kind of like, haha, I'm taking your life away, and you can't even gain me back. You see your death coming? Because I'm just going to keep making you lose life, and you can't gain any of it back. I extort
a lot with that deck. I extort a lot.
So like, the shining tunnel of hope, you see just is gone because of Erebos.
You can blame him for that deck anyways, because he made an extort deck that just teed me off so much. I made an extort deck just to take him off. Yeah. And it turned out to be way better than his deck.
Yeah.
and I kept it. I was like, hey, this actually works freaking amazing. I'm keeping this deck, and he hates it.
Yeah. Now
it's very heavy control, and extort, I take your life, you can't do shit to me thing, but I love it. It plays in my way very well.
I like Erebos actually more for his second ability.
Pay 2 life, draw a card. It's kind of like Sign in Blood.
It's kind of like Sign in Blood, and it's also like Greed. And I have a Mono Black Devotion, or Mono Black, not Mono Black Devotion.
Mono Black Suicide deck.
Suicide Black, yeah, there we go. And I want as many abused draw card abilities as possible. The only thing that I don't like about Erebos is the fact that his first ability is kind of useless if you're playing against a deck that doesn't gain life. It's just kind of like, oh, you can't gain life. Okay, I wasn't going to gain life anyways, but...
Well, you never know. I mean, you don't know what kind of decks other people play against you. They could have life gain there, they could not. But either way, at least you have a part of his ability that you can use to your advantage. Be like, well, I need a draw.
Yeah.
Well, I need to draw. I can do it on my opponent's turn. I want to draw, you know? Right. And that draw could win you the game very easily.
Oh, yeah, I mean, like a lot of people have said, Dark Confidant, that extra draw won people games. Exactly. Just having that extra draw won people games with Dark Confidant.
Exactly, and that's what he can do. He can give you that one draw. He's just asking for 2 life. I'm pretty sure you can give that to him.
I do it all the time.
But yeah, I mean, I like Erebos. I mean, he was the one I played the most. It's him and Heliod. When the first set came out, when the first set of gods came out, and why did you just stick your tongue out?
I don't know, I'm making funny faces just because
Why are you making funny faces?
Because faces.
Now stop it.
That was my face. That she just faced.
No, I didn't face it.
Alright, next face. Alright, next face.
I was trying to finish.
Okay.
Him and Heliod were the ones that I played with the most. It wasn't until more recently in this set that I actually even started playing Thassa and, what's her face? Nylea. Speaking of Thassa!
Now this is now she is a god, I guess, / goddess, if we want to be technical.
Well, I mean, she does kind of have boobs in this picture, so technically she's a goddess.
I would say
she's amazing.
I would say she's one that we both just love.
I mean, come on, Scry at the beginning before you even draw, you are influencing your draw. That is a big thing.
Oh, yeah, it's a huge thing.
That's a big thing.
I just want to say this because I think it's hilarious. When she was first foiled, I instantly knew she was bonkers. In fact, I kept, kind of like refreshing the page, like, wait, she's seriously 3 mana, you get a scry, and you can make a creature unblockable. Why do people not think this is good? Like,
I don't even understand that. Why didn't anybody think that was good? I don't know.
Like, I was watching...
I mean, that's insane.
I was watching the Magic show, and, they were talking about Thassa, like, Think Tank didn't really win many games, and, blah, 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 unblockability isn't that important.
Thassa's also a creature.
And
and she can make other creatures unblockable.
Yeah.
How is this not a good thing?
But yeah, that, and then, Mono Blue Devotion kind of just wrecked Standard.
It
and
destroyed.
And then people were like, maybe there's something to Thassa.
What did they think was so bad about her?
I don't know.
Honestly, what did they think was so bad?
I mean,
she's overpowered. This is the overpowered one, people. Thassa is overpowered. In very good ways, I might add. But you think about it, she's actually kind of overpowered. 2 mana to make any creature you've got unblockable. You can make like a 40/40 unblockable, and boom.
I mean, even making like an Arbor Colossus, although it's kind of awkward to have Thassa and Arbor Colossus in the same deck, I mean, it's not that difficult, but just making like a 6/6 unblockable, that's a lot of damage for that's painful. So
Thassa is just amazing.
Thassa is
you
amazing.
Influence your draw with her with the scry at the beginning of your upkeep. She can make other creatures unblockable. As many creatures as you can want or want to make unblockable, she will make them unblockable. She's 3 mana. Very nice early game there. Very nice early game.
She's just a little toolbox of all kinds of things.
And she's a 5/5.
Yeah, I mean,
for 3 mana, for 5/5, and all she requires is 5 blue devotion.
5 $5 food. Okay, we're moving on. Sorry. I don't know. We had the 5, and then I was kind of thinking. Yeah, okay, we're moving on. Moving on.
I think somebody's starting to get a little hungry again if he's thinking about Subway.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just tired.
And the last
Anyways,
one, Heliod,
the big man in the sky.
which I think is actually supposed to be Zeus
I don't
or
know.
Helios. I think I don't know. When I first saw him, I thought he was supposed to be Helios.
Yeah, I think he is supposed to be kind of like Helios because he's the sun god.
I mean, for one, if I had to pick a weakest one, it might be Heliod. Just because, I mean, for a 2/1 enchantment token, you have to pay 4 mana for.
I mean, yes, you do get a 2/1 enchantment creature with vigilance, but I will say probably of all of them, Heliod would probably be the one that I would have the hardest time trying to build a deck for.
Yeah.
Now, the deck you did have in mind was just pure insanity.
Yeah, I'm not gonna spoil it, but yeah, I still want to work on that idea.
Let me put it. I'm just gonna say this: if she builds this deck, I will probably never play it because most likely we will be sitting here for 30 minutes, me not being able to do anything, and then she just wins the game.
It's actually gonna be blue and white, and Thos is also gonna be in it too.
Anyways, yeah.
But yeah, if I had to pick a weakest one, probably Heliod.
I mean, I would say, I don't know. Actually, I might agree that Karametra is the weakest. However, I would not say that, she's like, by weakest, I would say influencing the board the best because Heliod gives your creatures vigilance, which is that's very relevant. And then if you're in a really bad situation,
the only one that doesn't really affect your creatures.
Whoa. Hold on. Like with Heliod, you get vigilance, which is very relevant.
Oh yeah.
And on top of vigilance, you can make creatures if you're in a really bad spot. So.
Well, yeah.
With Karametra, I mean,
if you have Heliod on the field, you obviously have enough mana to make the tokens with.
Right.
It's just the fact that 1 defense always gets me. I wish they didn't have 1 defense. That's the only thing. I mean, if they were 2/2 for 4, I would be much happier with it. I would be much happier. It's just that 1 defense. That 1 defense. I just wish they would have made just one more, and I would have been so happy with it. So happy with it. It would be much more worth, the 4 mana you're paying for than 2/1.
Or even just a 3/1 would have been nice.
Well, no, not even a 3/1. It's still the 1 defense is what gets me.
Well, I mean
anything could probably kill it except for a wall. Just about anything could kill it except for a wall.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's.
Karametra.
That's what I would say.
Karametra, she's not the weakest one. I mean, she doesn't influence your creatures.
My only problem with Karametra is that the land is great, but you need something to go into the land. Like, if you're playing Naya, then, you can rev into a Fireball or, a Clan Defiance. Or if you're playing, just Celestia, you can have big creatures. But, you have to have that other thing. In the grand scheme of things, if you have enough enchantments, Heliod could become a creature.
Right.
And then he can make tokens on top of that.
Right.
So he can kind of build his own army. Karametra's just like, well, you got the lands to do the things you need, but you just drew another land, so you're just kind of chilling.
I mean,
sorry.
Well, I mean, can you think of any other, effect they could have given the God of Harvest? I mean, besides, the one token.
Personally, what I might have given her, I actually still really like her ability, but I would say it, maybe if they had said like, whenever a forest or plains enters the battlefield under your control, you gain a life, you get a token of some sort. I think that might have been something good.
Yeah. It's kind of her and Ifara have like one ability where it seems that most of the others have a second ability that kind of coincides with the first.
Yeah. I mean,
those are about the only 2 that don't, aren't they?
Kind of. I mean, even if Karametra just had like, even if it was like, whenever a forest or plains enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been, at least something. I would still like the idea of her interacting with lands in some way, shape, or form since she's Harvest. But we're kind of like bouncing back to one we talked about towards like the middle of the video. But that's what I would say. I would say that's my view.
So which one was your favorite?
Out of all of the gods?
Yeah.
You suck. Expecting me to pick my favorite.
Well, you know mine.
I would probably say Probably. I can give top 3. I don't know exactly where to place them.
Well, you know my favorite, Crufix and Mokus.
I would say Thassa and Farika. Those are my 2 favorites.
Well, Thassa for me is a very solid third.
Yeah. And then I would say right behind that is probably Nylea, because I really like I just like the fact that, you know, she has trample. And let's be honest, recently a lot of big green creatures have not been getting trampled. And that's like the one thing that they're missing. Like, you know, you're like, I got this big guy, and you're just
Jump
like,
block.
That's funny. You're funny.
Jump block.
So I mean, that's what I would say. I would say my top 3 are Thassa, Farika, and then Nylea.
Well, yeah, they all pretty much suit you. I can see that.
Yeah, they're pretty much. They do the things that I do. But yeah, that's our I guess thoughts on all 5 gods.
All 5.
Oh. 15. I'm so derpy. But all 15 gods. You know what we think of all 15. And yeah, that's.
And if you've actually stuck around this long to hear us ramble, prant, and prattle on about Theros gods, well, bravo, kudos to you.
And if you didn't, then we will reverse time with Karn to make you watch the entire thing over.
And we're done. No.
And over again, because double Karn power.
We're done.
Oh, we are?
We're done.
Okay.
We're done. I love you.
Love you too.
Okay, we're done. Alright, YouTube. We're out for now. We'll make another video later. Bye. Just say bye, Wolfie.
Bye. Just bye.